Human nature at its core is very simplistic. We try and avoid pain and we try and seek pleasure. One of the reasons that we end up addicted to nasal ingestion of you-know-what is to avoid the pain of life and to seek pleasure, hedonism. Now, when we use what we've recently discovered in the last 25 years is the reason for the Comedown. So let me explain. What we scientists have discovered is that pain and pleasure are co-located in the prefrontal cortex of your brain, the very part that shrinks your ability to control your impulsivity when you use nasal ingestion of you-know-what. In other words, the prefrontal cortex shrinks, so you become more impulsive and more likely to use. On top of that, pain and pleasure are co-located there. In fact, they almost sit over each other, overlapping. Now, this is really important because when you do a line of you-know-what and you get this flood of dopamine, as the dopamine leaves your system because it blocks reuptake, in other words, you can't put any more in, you get this crash. This is the Comedown. So let me explain. Pain and pleasure co-locate in the prefrontal cortex of your brain. Pleasure's one side and pain is on the other end, like a seesaw, a tipping point if you like. Now, the job of your brain and body is to create homeostasis. That is an even balance. That's what it's trying to do. Now, when you use, you're experiencing pleasure, hedonism. And however much you use, you go up, right? You get a high. Eventually, that dopamine is going to leave your system actually within a very short period of time because it only has a life of 15 to 30 minutes. And when that comes down, you begin to have a Comedown. Now, the Comedown, which is what most people try and avoid by doing another line, but eventually, of course, you run out. The Comedown is based upon however much you come up because it has to counterbalance before it creates homeostasis. So you get hedonism and anhedonia. Anhedonia is that lackluster, not really interested. And the more this happens, the more you have come ups and come downs, the more you use, the more anhedonia becomes present, the more depressive and down you become. What's that about?